basically free loot to a certain extent. And you can, like, repair these things and make them into, bases of sorts. But, that's a little bit later in the game. For me, I just kind of use them as staging areas to a certain extent. I'll drop stuff off at them, and then, I'll come back and pick up stuff later. Let me see here. Yeah, I'd probably rather use the kitchen knife in battle, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so anything that I really, really need to keep with me. Not particularly. I mean, we'll go ahead and pick up a couple of things of water, just because that's nice to have. We'll go ahead and eat those. And then from there, it's a little bit of a trek through the woods to get to Pachenga, but not too bad. I'm just wondering if I want to sleep before I head over there, because it's 14:31. If I don't, I mean, I'll definitely need to sleep once I'm done searching that town, for sure. Actually, let me unplug my phone. It's actually getting a little bit hot. It's getting hot. Yeah, I'll go ahead and sleep. Why not? Okay. So, we're at 13% load. That reminds me. Okay, so that's 50 kilograms. So yeah, without that, I would have like half of the carrying capacity that I have right now. And that's one of the things that I mean about the game being tedious if you don't use the premium set of items. It's just like, you have to make a lot more trips back and forth to do stuff. And it's just, it's a waste of time. So I mean, if you have the premium version, might as well use the premium set of items. I see no reason why you shouldn't. No good reason, anyway. Some people would say, oh, well, you do it for the challenge. And I'm just like, okay. Whatever. If you think making 5 million trips back and forth rather than, a couple is a challenge, then, okay. Oh, I think my torch is gone. Yep, my torch is gone. That's unfortunate. Okay. Guess we'll just head into these apartment buildings over here. Searching, searching, searching. Always gotta be searching. And hope we don't get ambushed by rats. Okay. I don't really have any food on me per se. I didn't find any food. I don't think this is anything in this little cracked part of the road. Yeah. Alright, we'll go ahead and take a look at the cars over here. You know, I don't remember gas being this readily available in the early game before. I wonder if that's because they want you to use torches more often now? Kind of feels like maybe that's why they're doing that. Because it used to be that we would never use torches. If we needed a light source, we would make what was called a toxic lamp. We'd use these yellow glowing mushrooms and some toxic water and mix them together, and they would glow. And it was useful as a light source. But yeah, now we don't really have that from what I can tell. So that's kind of interesting. Now, doing any kind of searching at a time other than day is kind of a pain. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a fire. I could make flatbread? That would be interesting. But I think instead we're just going to make pasta with ground beef. Gonna eat that, and go ahead and sleep. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be sleeping in the middle of the day. That's, you know... We're literally wasting daylight, which is a problem since we don't have a torch now. Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I don't think I actually got to see what the torch requires because of the tutorial. It just was like, make it. It was just like this, and it would only let me click the gear button over there to actually make it. So it takes 1 firewood, 2 rags, and 500 gasoline. Let me lean back here. 500 gasoline. I mean, right now we don't really have a good use for gasoline. It's just going to start piling up, which in a sense is good because that means it'll just be that much more gas for us to use later on. But at the same time it's bad because it's that much more gasoline that I'm going to have to lug around right now. So I guess I'll go ahead and make a torch. And the last one was kind of wasted. So this time I will, I'll have to try and use it more sparingly. Okay, so back into the town we go. Actually, hold on, did I... Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, did I do anything with the water that I had? Okay, and then we'll check these houses and see what we can see. Okay, so it should be morning, so we'll go ahead and take that off. I don't really need the firewood at this point, so I won't bother breaking the furniture. More saucepans would be fantastic. Now, here's the thing. Rotten vegetables used to poison you when you ate them. Okay, so now they just give you -5 health, and they have a chance to give you food poisoning. That's interesting. They'll be fresh for 6 days, so I don't necessarily have to eat them right now. I'll go ahead and pick those up and just kind of leave them for the time being. And later on I'll explain why I like to keep rotten vegetables around. But we're not quite to that point yet. Okay. Drink some more dirty water. That makes me think of James Bond. What the hell's that drink? That, oh, what is it? A dirty something. God, I can't think of it. I am a little tired. It's been a long day for me, but, what is it? It's not a dirty martini, no. That's the whole shaken not stirred thing. God, what is it? I don't know. I can't think of it off the top of my head, so whatever. Alright, so let us go ahead and drop off stuff here. And you might be wondering, why am I going to drop stuff here if I'm just going to have to pick it all back up when I start heading down here? And there's a reason for that. There are 2 towns over here that I did not explore. Now, there are things over here, I'm pretty sure, that I may want to get later. Right now, however, we don't really have a good source of food. I mean, we're just kind of like fighting rats and stuff, and it's just like, rats are not really what I want to be fighting. You know, they're not very good for food and whatnot, so it's kind of like I don't feel like it's a very good thing to constantly be using. Now, we need scrap in order to make crossbow bolts now, instead of nails. So I'm almost wondering if it wouldn't be a good idea to go back into one of the towns and grab a little bit of scrap from one of the ruins. I don't need a lot of scrap, I just need a little bit. And generally there's like 100 to like 300 scrap in any one given ruin. Or at least like you can get that in a single search or something like that. I don't know, I never actually got to the point in the game before where I would do any blacksmithing, so I never had to, like, keep a lot of scrap around. I'm also kind of hungry, so kind of hungry and kind of tired. So I think what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and sleep a little bit. I don't want to sleep a lot. Like getting to 60 would be fine. And I'm going to head back into Zapolyani. And I'm just going to search this ruin down here real quick. Hopefully there are scraps for me. No, no scraps there. I guess I'll check this ruin then. Yeah, some scraps, please. Alright, I'll just take those and get the hell on out of here. Yes, I'm technically starving, but I don't need the health right this second. So I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. And from there, well, these aren't going to last until I get to the next part anyway, are they? Well, the next part of the process. Generally what I like to use rotten vegetables for, and also what I kind of like to use rusks for. Well, in addition to the fact that rusks are used in, like, cooking. Like, for example, tailed rizzoli needs rusks. Let's see. Meat rizzoli is one of the things that I would make, like, all the time before. That requires rusks. So I like to keep those around for that. But in addition to that, fishing is also a thing in this game. And I feel like, well, I'm not sure how fishing is going to work in this game, because sometimes you have to fight. So I don't know how the whole movement thing is going to work. I mean, technically a fish can't go on land, right? So that's going to be a little bit weird. The whole movement thing? Yeah, that's going to be odd. But anyways, I like to save rotten vegetables for fishing, because basically, you can see that a rotten vegetable, it's only going to give you 10 food and water, and it's going to, reduce our health, in addition to potentially giving us food poisoning. So I have to eat a whole bunch of them in order to get any decent health or food and water off of them, and I'm going to lose a bunch of health and potentially lose even more if I get food poisoning. So what I like to do is, instead of eating them, I like to use them for bait for fishing, which basically converts them into fish, which is, of course, perfectly fine to just, go ahead and cook up, and you'll get a whole lot more food out of your rotten vegetables if you basically convert them to fish. At least on average. Sometimes you can have, bad times for fishing. There are very specific times when fishing is good. It's normally during the evening and in the morning. I found were the best times to go fishing. You would get fish more often then. But at the same time, the handmade fishing rod here, well, for one, we can't make it yet. Number two, it will have a durability on it, and it's not a great durability, and I don't remember if we can repair it or not. I think if you can repair it, it requires, like, rope, which isn't actually all that common, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, you don't want to overfish. At least not at the beginning, for sure.